What's up, YouTube? ProTech here, back with another video for you guys today. I wanted to make this video today because I got mugged last night, and I wanted to share this story for people who plan on coming out here, or people who might already even be here, just to kind of put into perspective. Crime is real. It is there. You may fall into the delusion that it's not, but I can assure you that it is. So I didn't get mugged. That was a poor choice of words. I was outside last night walking to go get a coffee and get some food. And I was walking outside. It's about 9 o'clock at night. And, I'm doing this number where I'm on my phone, whatever. And I missed my usual street. And so I got about halfway down the street, and instead of turning around, which I should have done, I decided, you know what? I haven't walked down this way. Let's go check it out, just kind of to explore the area or whatever. And so I turned down this street, and I'm on my phone, not really paying attention. And along comes a motorbike. I'm walking this way, he's driving this way, and, I'm doing this, and I can hear it, and I'm just thinking, oh, it's, he's just driving along. And he snatches the phone right out of my hand. And then he zooms off. So I chase after him for a minute. I was seeing red. Chase after him for a minute, and I thought, you know what, I should just let this go, because Lord have mercy if I caught up with him. But in hindsight, when stuff like that happens, you got to keep your cool. You really don't want to create a scuffle, because first and foremost, as an expat, you don't really have much. You don't have rights. I mean, you might find yourself in situations where the law works in your favor, but as far as I understand it, that's very rare. So it's better to let that go. But the point is that when you come out here, a lot of times you guys will be doing your research, and they'll paint this picture that, it's perfect and it's great. And, that they'll touch on crime and stuff like that, but they won't really give you the idea that it's going to happen to you, right? Well, I can tell you that it's very real, and it happened to me last night. Fortunately, the joke's on him, and that phone wasn't worth shit. He might get $50 out of that phone, maybe $100. It's a Pixel 4a, right? I think I paid like $250 or $300 brand new, and it was about 2 years old, I think. Maybe a year and a half, something like that. So the joke's on him. He's not going to get anything out of it, unless he somehow manages to get into all of my stuff and, steal all of my stuff. Which, I've already gone into all of my apps and changed my passwords and my usernames and all that stuff. And even that process was a huge pain in the ass because of the layers of security. People, a lot of times they bitch about, having to do this or having to do that when you log into your phone. Well, let me assure you that the reason that they do this is for situations like this. He's not going to be able to get into my bank accounts. He's not going to be able to get into any of my stuff. He might be able to get into my pictures. He might be able to get into some of my stuff because I was on my phone, right? It was unlocked. The silver lining is that the phone was pretty much dead. But, I'm sure he probably had enough time to get to wherever it is he needed to go, a safe spot or whatever, and then do a factory reset, erase the phone. That's likely what happened. But yeah, because, and you got to think, like, well, why did this even happen? Well, in Phnom Penh, the average salary is what, maybe $300 a month. So, when people are having a hard time, they got to turn to stuff like this because they can't pay the rent, right? Because they're not making enough money to pay the rent, eat food, stuff like that. So, I'm not mad at him. I should be, but I'm not. I'm really mad at myself for not being aware and, knowing full and well that something like this could happen. Um, but I kind of just wanted to make this video to warn expats, warn expats, warn future to be expats that you really have to pay attention. You really do. At some point, you're going to fall into a bad state of mind where, you've got a nice apartment, things are very cheap, life is very good, things are going very well. And for me, what had happened to me is that I fell into this state of mind where it was almost as if I was living back at home, with just a lot more pros versus the cons. And so I got complacent. I got, I wasn't aware. I just sort of lost track of my surroundings and what the possibilities were and stuff like that. I mean, this has never happened to me in America, and I seriously doubt it ever would, depending on where you go. But like where I live, this is like the sought out area. I mean, this is not a poor area. It is a upscale area, and it's basically where all of the wealthy expats, if that's what you want to call them, that this is where they want to live. And but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm in a really nice place, and my phone got stolen right out of my hands last night as I'm walking on the street. So they're everywhere. And so my recommendation is don't fall into this state of mind that I fell into. You need to remember that you're living in a foreign country. You are a target. He probably thought that my phone was an iPhone 14 Max, just bought it. He thought, damn, I'm going to sell that for $1,300, $1,400. It was a Pixel 4a, so he might get $100 out of it if he's lucky. But yeah, just don't fall into that state of mind. Just remember that you are a target, and it doesn't matter where you go. People are always going to be looking at you, and they're going to be looking for ways. They're probably going to scope you out for a while, and they're going to be looking for ways to gank your shit. And that is exactly what happened to me last night. So just kind of a warning, kind of a reminder that don't fall into the state of mind that I fell into. Make sure you are aware at all freaking times when you are out there. And if I have a recommendation, don't even be on your phone at all when you are walking the streets. Just don't be on it at all. And that's what I'm going to be doing going forward. I'm never going to whip that out. The only time I'll ever whip out my phone when I'm outside is once I've arrived at my establishment. If I'm sitting down having a coffee or whatever, I'm nowhere near the street. Or if, say, I'm in a car, or if I'm like in a tuk-tuk, maybe I'll whip it out or whatever. But never again will I have my phone in my hand walking the streets. Unless it's for like 2 seconds. If I have to check navigation or something like that, and I have to check navigation, I'm going to get as far away from the road as humanly possible, like up on a sidewalk or whatever, and look at navigation or whatever. And it sucks, it sucks that you have to worry about that, and not just especially if you're trying to use navigation, right? But anyway, it is what it is. No use in crying over spilt milk. But I just wanted to make this video to remind people that if you're here or if you're coming here, it's a real thing. It happened to me. And if you fall into a bad state of mind, it'll happen to you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on